Welcome to Wrestling with Faith, finding purpose in friction. This week's episode of the Faith and Friction podcast. Join Mac and his co-host, The Rev, as they discuss how friction arises both internally and externally when trust is splintered by life experiences, deconstruction, deceit, or disillusionment. They'll outline the fight, flight, and freeze responses and a preferred fourth option, presence and conscious choice. Welcome to the conversation.
Oh, faith and friction, Rev.
I got that little hole. That's a strap-in laugh if I ever heard one.
It sets everybody up for what's to come, doesn't it? So, welcome
Faith
welcome
and
today,
friction.
brother. Yeah, man. Here we are once again. And this episode is going to speak right to who we say we are, right the title, Faith and Friction.
Absolutely.
We are going to talk today about how faith causes friction and how there is, I'm going to call it, challenges between our own faith and what do we place faith in and how do we navigate those changes in us. And
Well, what I like about that little shift,
Yeah.
one word makes a whole world of difference, faith and friction. I can keep them separate. This is actually a very courageous faith that says, I'm going to be the cause of friction.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
going to invite to my life, to my belief system, challenges. And I think that's a really healthy and evolving way of thinking. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I think that you're exactly right. And that sort of perspective flows across all kinds of things, but certainly in a religious or faith-based perspective and however you're going to grid that. And I'm not going to it's not just Christianity.
No, I look at my faith and the unity movement that I'm involved in. They have really made an art of avoiding friction. It's almost came about as let's just avoid conflict at all costs, and then basically become the best kept secret. And what I'm challenging my congregation and myself to do is be the cause of a little bit of friction, of the heat, of the growth, of the possibility. And that takes a great deal of guts.
It does, and equipping people to deal with that. We were talking about this in the pre-show, just equipping folks to be able to navigate those waters
Be ready
as the
for
friction.
it. Not
Yes.
only welcome it, but be prepared.
There it is.
As something really holy and wonderful when it comes, and being able to intelligently answer it, so it doesn't get out of control.
Yes, not only out of control, but it becomes credible. It conveys a sense of, even though this may, you're asking me the questions about, so therefore I'm going to give you an answer, and I want it to be a thought-out answer. I wanted it to be a professional answer.
So it causes us to study, perhaps,
Yes.
and be more educated about what our faith really is.
There you
and
go.
We've talked a little bit already about blind faith versus educated faith. Yeah, maybe we're afraid of causing the friction because I don't really have the answer if the question comes. So I think the episode today is going to really challenge us. Be prepared to be ready when the time comes, because it is going to come.
It will come, and whether it's coming internally only, if you will.
Your own wrestling.
That's right. That your
All roads lead there.
Yeah. It's an internal thing typically, because if it wasn't an internal struggle, then it won't be a manifested struggle, and then there's not the conversations. Then there's not the
See, and those
friction
are the kinds
out
of
there.
environments I want to be in, externally and internally. It's okay to question.
Correct.
It's okay, because then I'm going to have to educate myself more and learn more
And evolve
stretch
more.
and explore, and inevitably, as you said,
Yes.
evolve.
Excellent. It's a process, but if you don't ever enter into the process, you'll never reap enlightenment, the betterment, all the different components that can go to.
Oh, can I just be happy
better.
with my current delusion?
Sure.
Even though it's been disproven 100 times or shown to be a little bit like a fallacy, I don't know.
That's the disillusionment.
Yeah, exactly.
People get comfortable with it. So let's just start out by saying, I'm gonna, you know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read my summary. I think it really sets the stage for us as we had the conversation.
does.
So here it is. What happens when our faith has been splintered through life experience, non-belief, deconstruction, evolution, deceit, or disillusionment? All the above.
Yep.
Pick your, or combination of. When our faith causes friction with people of other or no faith. All right. So how to, again, internally, and I know this hits home for me front and center because I got friction with my faith. It wasn't making sense anymore, but I couldn't figure out what to do with it.
And this is the moment of grace.
Yeah.
Our ability to choose. And
Yeah.
there are, I'm going to say, 3 options when that happens. When that deconstruction, that evolution, or that deceit or delusionment comes, I've got 3 choices. 1, I can run.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is good.
I'm going to flight. I'm going to fight. Oh, there's another choice. Fight or flight. In between is freeze. I just don't do anything because I'm not prepared for it. I'm saying there's a 4th choice, and I bring presence. I bring presence to it, which is going to actually invite it as something of benefit to me, not something to fight against or to run away from or to just freeze and shut down. But that's grace. I get to choose. That's the beautiful
that's
thing
the key,
about
right?
my faith is I am the one that's empowered to make the decision. And I will reap the consequences based on my decision, not anybody else's.
It doesn't come from on high. It comes from on high of my consciousness.
Well, and actually what it does is it gives all the power away to the person who's in front of you.
Right.
If I'm running away from you, I've given you all the power. If I'm fighting you, I've given all the power to you.
Yes.
If I freeze, where's the power?
No. Yeah.
So its presence brings the power back to me. Through grace, my ability to choose my experience and my reaction.
You brought up a good point in the pre-show as well. Let's go back to freeze. Freeze necessarily doesn't mean immobility. It means I need this space right now in the middle where I'm in liminal space. I'm not moving forward yet. I've come out of what I've come out of, but it's an active, contemplative middle ground.
I'm calling that presence.
Yeah, okay.
Freeze is I'm just numb, I'm paralyzed.
Okay,
I don't know what I'm the deer in the headlight.
I'm immobile.
The 4th choice is the presence. What you're talking about is I'm bringing
love that.
consciousness as the cause of this experience and as the cause of how we're going to deal with this friction.
Sure.
With
this
my
is great.
faith.
Yeah, this is great. This is a great foundation. So let's just start this conversation a little bit. Let's just talk about what do we put our faith in? Just the possibilities of things out there that can cause friction with our faith. So let's just start with the first category, people.
Yeah, starting with yourself. I have faith in myself, people in my life. How did that faith get developed? Experience, history, or is it blind? I have a tendency, because I have faith in humanity, you've got my trust until you prove that it's unfounded.
As opposed to the flip side, that you have to prove to me you're trustworthy. But for yourself, I think you said that word. What does faith in yourself? What are the things that are evidence of that or manifest that could cause some friction should that start to shift, right? Your abilities, your sensitivities, your education,
my past experience, what I've seen, I was able to pull from in a difficult moment. And I'm going to say also, what I may not have the ability in this moment, but I know I have access to it. I have faith that I can be present enough to access that which I don't have in this moment. So I'm about to grow, so I have faith based upon my history. I can find it. I can find the answer.
That's such an interesting, I'm going to say, process or perspective, because much of the time, at least in my life, okay, I'm just going to go to me, and my upbringing, my faith upbringing taught me that I couldn't trust me, that I was going to make a mistake. If I was going to go out there and make a decision for myself or look at a certain way or look at my faith a certain way that wasn't in alignment maybe with what I'd been taught or my tribe or whatever, then I'm on the proverbial slippery slope, and I can't, you can't trust
So don't do anything.
Oh yeah, I'm going to trust. Then where my faith gets placed in the authority, whatever the outside authority is out there. Just tell me. Okay, so that I can...
Yeah. Here's something you brought up there that I think is really interesting. I have faith that we all are going to make mistakes. Yeah, I have faith. My history has shown me, my experience and my education, I'm going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
But the greater faith here is that I'm not defined by those mistakes. I'm defined by what I do after those mistakes. And I have faith that I can overcome them. I have faith that you can overcome them. We together can overcome our failings and become more of who we were designed to
Wow,
be.
what a great perspective that says, yeah, I know I can do some work on myself. Yep, I have faith that my spiritual walk and I'm doing the things and I meditate, and whatever it might be for you. But now you took it to a little bit different place and you said, I not only have faith that I can do those things and do them well and have the right discernment and all that, but I have faith that you can do it.
Yes.
Oh, that now gives me now a whole oneness. We talk about oneness all the time. It's
And
a
in that
beautiful
oneness,
example.
this is the essence of God as love that I
Yeah.
teach and I believe with my whole heart. Love, it's the same love existing at the point of all people, even the people I disagree with and I don't like with. So if I
Right.
have that faith in me and the idea that we're all one, I have to have that same faith in you.
Wow, that's beautiful. Then you start to look at other people in a different light.
But yeah, I get
You
to
just
say,
do.
you're not defined by your mistakes either. You son of a gun. You just made a really huge error, but I'm not going to define you there. I'm
That's
going to hold
right.
you accountable, but we're going to grow together.
And there's no, see, if you only had blind faith,
Yeah.
then that wouldn't happen because then you wouldn't have to trust your own failings and foibles.
I know
right?
people who have blind faith and who have an activated faith and evidenced faith. They all make mistakes.
Hello.
And they all have people in their life who make mistakes.
Imagine that. All right, so yourself, people, let's just, some of the people in your life, a partner or your spouse, the people close to you, especially if you're going to, especially a partner, there's a deeper trust that has to take
It
place.
happens to, when you're talking about in sickness and in health or poor, I have trust that you're going to be solid for me and I'm solid for you.
And then you have to say what this conversation is about. All right, yes, I place faith in my spouse. Let's just use that. Not everybody has a spouse, but let's just use that as an example. What happens when that faith gets, we'll go back up to the top, it gets splintered. It gets challenged.
Yep.
There's evidence now that maybe my faith was misplaced.
That vow you
in
made
you.
for me when we got married has not been fulfilled.
Yeah.
My faith is rocked. My
Right.
trust is rocked, and there's going to be friction with that, both within the partnership and within myself.
Yes.
Ooh, was that faith misplaced in you?
So now you have to figure out, what do I do with that, right? And like you were talking about, I'm going to run from it, right?
I'm going to fight you.
Yeah.
You cheated on me. I'm going to go cheat on you.
Or I'm frozen to where I'm just not going to say anything and I'm just going to keep my head down.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep,
And nothing changes.
nothing changes. Or like you said, then you come to that presence place that says, what's my discernment say? What is my faith in my ability to make decisions?
Yep.
Right? What does that say now? What next step do I need to take?
And you've
in
got
all
to
that?
ask the question, how many times is my trust broken before I go, okay, I trust that I have the courage to do something different.
Yes.
Then this isn't working anymore.
True. And it's not just the pattern out there. It can be the pattern within yourself.
You bet.
That how many times have I seen certain things that I've not acted on? Boy, that seems to be a pattern that I follow all the time. How's that working out for you? What's that kind of
That's
self-introspection?
an evidence-based faith. You know what? I'm getting the same result over and over and over and over. There might be the universe saying, there's a different way to do this.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's evolution.
I saw a meme today, and it was a picture of, like you used to have that Jesus picture that all the mainly Catholics had or whatever. It's that profile picture of Jesus on the wall.
The white guy.
Yeah.
And Jesus
Yeah,
was-
and this was, he was turning left away from the background, and he had his hand on his head, and he went, guys, that's not what I said. I thought that was, whatever that's worth, but I thought that was really
Townley
cool.
did a sermon one time. Somewhere that this guy Jesus is looking down, going, "Wait a minute, you got it all wrong."
Yeah, exactly. What are you guys thinking? Okay. So yourself, partners, intimates, right? Let's go to the workplace. What about your boss or the company or your source of income and your livelihood and where you can express yourself well? You have placed faith in that institution as well as the people that you work with and for.
And the energy between you. You're talking about whether it was marriage or your boss or the organization you work for. It's a contract.
Yeah.
I have faith in the contract and all the players within this contract to fulfill their obligation. There's tiers to that. The circle, you're making the circle wider and wider. We all have contracts. Every conversation is a contract. And faith is present. If you are conscious and present, this conversation right now, I trust that we're going to be able to treat each other with respect in this contract. When it gets broken, then I need to renegotiate, or you need to renegotiate with me.
Either somebody.
But all these things you're saying as levels of contract, and we live life without faith. I don't think we can. I have faith the sun's going to come up every day because I have the evidence that it does come up every day. And if it doesn't, I better start paying attention to what happened.
This is the same thing that says you don't have to be a religious person at all. Agnostics have faith.
Everyone
has faith in something,
Yep.
all right? And then we, of course, we're dealing with this all the time. The people that govern us. That we, in our country, we have free and fair elections, all right? I use that word a little tongue-in-cheek. But the point is, once these people are elected into office, whatever office that might be, then we have given them the mandate. Now it's your responsibility to act in our best interests.
Yes. And blind faith would say, I'm just going to quit paying attention to what you're doing. Wait a minute. My vote, there was some trust and faith in what you were going to do. You're not doing it.
Correct.
Whether or not, promises aside about what was going to happen, the actions I see happening, it is our responsibility to question that. It's question, show me the money, show me the evidence that was a well-founded vote, and it doesn't feel like it was because I don't feel represented. Let's talk.
And then I might push the button differently next time, right? That's my right, and that's the way I look at it.
But see, first to understand, have a conversation, write a letter, hopefully get a response. Wait a minute, this doesn't jive.
Yeah, this doesn't line up.
This doesn't line up with what I was told was going to happen. My trust has been rocked a little bit, and I have every right and responsibility to examine that trust.
Yes.
Place it somewhere else. I can continue to do this. I can fight you. I can run from it. I can be blind, or I can be present to something wants to emerge here. Something wants to evolve here in this broken contract.
And that fits in on all these things. You can take that perspective and that process and that point of view in all of that we've been talking about. Same process, no doubt.
Maybe a different modality, but it's going to show up in your religion.
Exactly. And so what about religion? When there's friction in your worldview, and a large part of everybody's worldview is, and I'm going to use the word God, and whether that's an absence of God in your mind and in your perspective, or an inclusion, and then we're going to broaden that to whatever. But the bottom line is your worldview, I've seen all kinds of studies on this, is grounded. I mean, it's centered. It doesn't matter the culture, it doesn't matter as far as the core goes. You're going to operate from that core, and then your worldview runs through that. And how you grid your biases,
everything comes through that, and your whole life is a reflection of that basic belief system.
Correct.
Everything is created twice, first in mind and then in reality.
Yes.
Faith is born within. A belief system is born within, and then the world shows up to prove your faith or to disprove it. But
or
if you're not conscious, exactly. So pay attention to what you're paying. This is what mindfulness is. Pay attention to your life. It's showing you if that is well placed or misplaced faith and belief.
See, that is such great advice. It's common sense on the one hand, and yet, do we really do that? Are we really willing to just run it through that kind of grid? I think we would eliminate so many things necessarily that are negative in our life. And again, negative things can happen and be a positive result, but there would be just so much better navigation through all of the stuff if we were to take that process.
Well, I often say people will rise to the level of how you see them, to your belief in them most of the time, or they'll fade away from you. That's easy with people. Okay, most people swallow that. God's going to show up as your belief in this entity, in this energy. So we come to the question, is life for us? Is God for us? Or is God against us? Life against us? And you are actually manifesting and creating in the world your experience, your God, your faith in God is going to show up in your world. So if we have this belief in this capricious entity that blesses you one day and curses you tomorrow, if you don't behave, that's exactly the kind of life you're going to be experiencing. Now, maybe not individually, but collectively, we're in that energy, and we have the majority of the population of the planet believes in a God that should be feared. And then why are things chaotic? Why aren't things difficult? Because our basic belief system is we have to fear life itself. We might
That's
want
right.
we've put our trust in a God that can change its mind at any given moment.
Yeah, we talked this very same thing a couple episodes ago or whatever it was about. And again, take a characteristic of your God, all right? Whatever those might be. Again, if you want it to be a personality-driven God, then what are those personality traits? Yeah. And you can say love, okay, all right? But then when you go to the next word, hate, God hates certain things. Yeah. God is against certain people. God needs blood
You've
sacrifice.
You've heard me say before that you can be assured that you've created God in your image if God hates all the same people that you hate. Come on.
It becomes a self-righteous justification for abdicating personal responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. And I always like to turn the tide around, and it makes some people a little uncomfortable. We're talking about our faith in God. God said, I have faith in you. So here you go. Here's this amazing earthly experience where you can create. I have faith that you're going to do something good with it. So maybe it's not just Jesus going, wait a minute, you got it all wrong. If you're going to give God a personality, which I don't, God's going, man, my faith was misplaced in you. You've really screwed this up. I am love. I don't know anything of hate. This is not what you're not doing love.
Yeah, that's not me.
That's not me. Quit blaming me for your responsibility that wasn't taken.
It's this whole idea, again, that we're personifying God to the best of our ability, and what we've done is just completely diminish the power and the perspective all the way across the board. Now, that's scary, though. It's much easier when it's in a box. Right?
Exactly. But the power has been completely dissipated. The power of faith has been completely dissipated because there's this capricious entity that's got control.
I was having this conversation the other morning with a guy, and let's take this a little bit deeper, that if we take some faith-based things that says God's got a plan and I just got to figure it out, or when something happens that I don't understand, then it must be God's will, must be God's plan. And so I'm removed again from the personal sort of responsibility of it. And I remember reading a book, and this was enlightening for me when I did this. There was a chapter on this, has God got a plan for your life, right? Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that? And what this guy said was, no, listen, you are going to make decisions based upon whatever criteria you're going to make them. You're the sum total of you. At this point. And God isn't going to step up there and go, you said you're going to go left? No. Sorry. The right decision is to go right. Okay? Mm-hmm. If you're going to the left, then you're on your own, buddy, until you figure it out and you get in the ditch or you come to Jesus or whatever you want to call it. And now if you're listening to my direction, now we're going to go right. All right? That's the typical way. No, what he said was, no. You want to go left? Fine. I'll get right in there with you. That's your decision.
Exactly.
Okay. We're in there together. And if it was the right decision, and you even got to question that, which is the right and wrong decision, we'd love to do that. But the point is, God's right there with us because God loves us.
So good or bad, the decision go left, go right, there are consequences to either decision.
Sure.
God's there in the midst to hold us and support us and to be present with us, but not to say, you should have gone right, I told you so. And again, it sometimes removes the personality from God completely.
Yes.
Fire. Is fire good or bad? It is neither. If you're conscious, you got fire in your hands and you're awake, it's the most amazing tool in the world. And you go to sleep with fire in your hand, it's in trouble. Is that God's will? God's will was, here's fire, create something, but for God's sake, stay awake.
Do it good.
But I'm not going to interfere if you go to sleep. That's what you want.
Yeah, God. So again, you already spoken to the capricious nature of God, and then it's hard to have faith, and I love to call it Calvin ball. Yeah. That God's playing 1 minute by these rules, and then all of a sudden the rules get changed, and you just don't even understand what's next. And you can't, then you just get the blind faith thing. then you just go, oh, whatever the hell, okay, fine. I can't figure it out and I don't know, and now I'm fearful or I'm indifferent or whatever happens.
At the risk of really messing things up here, for God so loved the world that he gave our ability to choose our experience,
Yes.
to choose our direction, to choose our words, to choose our emotions, to choose our interactions, and is not going to interfere. Loves us so much. You get to do, here's the power.
Not going to interfere, but participate. That's a
I'm not the cause of your
incredible
good
difference.
or your blessing. I'm just the power behind it.
I'm for you. And so let's figure it out, okay?
The river knows only to go to the ocean.
Yeah.
That's all it knows. You can fight the river, and you can fight its buoyancy. Those are the people that drown. Let water do what water does. Let God do what God does, and get present. This is where presence,
the presence,
between
yeah.
fight, flight, and freeze is. Let me just go. What is wanting life here in me
Yeah,
right
I love
now?
that.
When we listen to that, God buoys us up, and God gets us to the ocean of a greater experience than we could ever imagine.
That'll preach.
Yeah. And if there's friction, maybe I am the cause of it. I'm splashing and making a big scene and screaming out. Maybe I need to get more present for a minute. With the friction, here it is. Oh,
There
I'm
it is.
causing it.
Wow.
There's a wave here. Is it bad? Is it good? It's neither. I'm going to let the wave do what it does.
There's awareness level. There it is, right? And perspective. You look at the God and these things, as they cause friction within you, typically they're going to cause friction typically out there than with people. Like you're talking about. If my faith was grounded in a capricious God that does bless, that does curse, that's God's personality.
Oh, it's God's will.
That's who I am, and that's what I've grown up with, and that's my belief. And then all of a sudden, that faith, that was for then, but now that faith to me seems misplaced. I can't believe that way anymore about God. Yeah. Now what? Now what do you do with that friction that starts within you?
It's friction. Remember the moment you were told Santa Claus wasn't real, but it was an idea. It's like, oh, that caused friction as a child. No, I was 27 when I learned it. But the reality is, that's a moment when you learn these things that got you to a certain point of understanding the spirit of Christmas. Spirit, oh my God, it's not real. My wife actually got to the same thing when she found out Santa Claus wasn't real. She was challenging, was Jesus real? Have you been feeding me lies? But there was a greater empowerment.
Yes.
I get to be Santa Claus. And so Jesus was real, but I get to be the Christ. That's the moment of incredible evolution where I've challenged that faith I've always believed. When I moved from the Methodist Church into a more metaphysical understanding, there was friction in my life. There was friction in
no
me.
Kidding.
And it was like, I'm really having to wrestle here. But I'm so grateful the wrestling happened, because there was a greater understanding of God. And tomorrow, I'll be wrestling again with my current belief system. Oh my God, there's more God being revealed. There's more good being revealed. I love that, but I have to be the cause of the friction, not just faith and friction, not running from it or fighting it. Let me invite it. Come on in. Let's discuss ideas and let's cause a little bit of friction.
Or a lot of friction, depends, right?
Could be.
It could be. It's the other word in all of this as well is fear. That a lot of times when you get to that unsettling place where you begin to think that your faith has been misplaced, or I don't even want to use that negative word necessarily, although it does come, you just say that faith perspective just doesn't serve me anymore. It was fine then.
Yep. It's not bad, it's not wrong.
And so I'm moving past it. That can be a very fearful place to go, because now what? It's really difficult. You lose connection with some of your best friends, or you lose connection with your tribe. You start to doubt yourself. Now what's the faith that I have in me?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I've learned through history and experience, I have trust there'll be new friends.
I like that.
I have faith that I have the capability to, I use the word vibration, to make new community around a different vibration. And it will be just as good and holy as what I had before.
See, there's the faith in I'm just going to call it the greater good.
Yes.
That if God, the universe, the creator, loves us beyond our wildest imagination for eternity, then a faith that it will be provided. That an evolution of this way in your faith is what God would want a greater understanding.
It is the only will. If there was a will of God, it's the vast miracle of love expressed and experienced by everybody. That's the only will. And I do put my faith there, and it is evidence-based. That when I found the presence and the stillness and the quiet, I was provided for. Because I believe, I have developed over time, the universe is for me. God is moving in the direction of my greatest good. Love will always, in the end, provide everything I need. I do not need to fear.
And I don't have to do anything to receive that. It is what it is. We're all endowed with that. It's just a matter of what it was, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about waking up and stop being asleep.
It's waking up. The very religion I was believing, or the belief system, was fear-based.
Yes.
I need to fear God, so it keeps me in line. And I realized that kind of belief system actually caused more reasons to be afraid in the world.
Exactly.
I now am afraid of those people and those people. They are to be feared.
Yes.
And when I woke up to the idea, wow, there's more love to be here, I am attracting to myself more reasons to love those people. There is no us and them anymore, or you and me. There's the one essence here, and it is expressed and experienced as love.
I think that's almost one of the, not the, I don't know, I'm pondering it right now, highest expressions of faith is that very same thing. We are all one. Together, loved by our Creator, and so therefore, start right there. Where does it go from there if that's the foundation that you're going to operate from? That, to me, that's the beauty. So we've talked about some of these other things. What are some of the faith-based things? Your tribe, the truths. I think that a lot of times truth, there becomes a point of friction, almost more than anything.
Well, if you're walking into the conversation, my truth can beat up your truth.
Yes.
You forget it. You're shot in the foot. But my truth is a piece of truth. Your truth is a piece of this great mosaic of truth. And there's something greater that can emerge when we sit down and talk to each other. Very different mindsets, but everything starts inside.
Yes, and absolutely it does. And then you come to the higher level that says, well, let's see, you have a truth, and I have a truth, and he's got a truth, and she's got a truth. So what are we, willy-nilly? With just everybody deciding what they're going to do for themselves, all right? And I don't think people are willing to understand or believe or have faith that there is a greater truth that permeates the universe, that whether you call it love, whether you call it goodness, whether you call it whatever, or respect, or some of these virtues. Point is, they're there and they're common and they're built into everything, no matter what.
If you run to judgment, that's willy-nilly, then you have a fear-based reality. I'm afraid to look at that. I'm going to just judge you, and then I don't have to know you or understand you. Two things I liked is the poem. I don't have it here to read. The 7 blind men, or the 6 blind men and the elephant. Everybody had a slight understanding what the elephant was, but they were blind to the rest of the elephant. If I put a globe, an earth, was sitting here between you and I right now on this table, you would describe what you saw. And it would be absolutely truth.
Correct.
I would describe on the other side of the planet what I saw, and it would be absolutely true. Now, we can fight and defend and attack each other that my truth is right and yours is wrong, but the reality is we're both right. We're describing our direct experience. The world's been fighting over God forever. It's in the middle of the room, and nobody is wrong that they have a different experience.
Let's just put it this way, especially when you're talking about God, let's talk about the globe. It's incomplete. Unless you rotate it, you're not going to see it differently.
Exactly.
Same thing with God. If you don't, first of all, it's a concept that we try to get our head around. And to me, it's just understanding that it's always going to be experiential to a greater and greater degree.
Exactly.
And just leave it at that.
If I have 2 people, 3 people, 5 million people willing to go, let me turn the globe around so you can see what I'm seeing. That requires understanding. It requires humility.
Yes.
And it requires a faith that is not blind, that is open and receptive to the mystery. Hey, let me take a look at what you're looking at. And before I judge you and throw something at the wall at you to just say you're wrong because my God, my truth can beat up yours.
because my view is better, and it's the only view. But we do it all the time, and we don't even realize, and we give it lots of labels to make it right. So we've been talking about all these things. How do we deal with them as they come along? How do we integrate the friction that we find in all of these different avenues or experiences? And I think that for me, the last thing I was writing on our agenda, maybe we can end with this. We should develop, as we get a higher consciousness, I think we develop a greater and greater conviction of more about what's unseen than about what we can touch and feel and experience right here. Not that those things are good, but I'm convicted. I don't really need to be convicted that I'm looking at you right now. It is what it is. But a conviction that there is a higher power, that we are all one, that God loves us, that those are concepts a lot of times that you can't quantify. And yet I'm convicted that they're true. I'm okay with my grounding as long as I stay open-minded about how I look at it.
Well, and there's choice. Let's go back to that thing of grace. You can choose that. Your truth is different. I don't need to make you the enemy. I'm going to choose the way I'm experiencing God or the globe or the universe or whatever it is. Love. That's okay.
Yeah. Right. And what's the manifestation of that belief or that trust?
Well, we find that we can meet at the level of choice. You can choose, I can choose. We agree there. It's okay to choose. And I'm not going to make you my enemy because it's a different choice than the one I make.
Sometimes those choices I'm going to just call them negative effects. If my choice is a certain thing, people can suffer from it. People can be abused.
Yeah, we're talking more esoteric of love.
Yes.
You experience love differently than I do. You experience compassion and spirit and good and truth differently. Those are a little more esoteric.
And
there are
I wanted
consequences.
to make that. Yeah.
Consequences for actions that don't come from that place of love.
Correct.
Let's meet at the spiritual level and let that be the cause.
Absolutely.
The cause of the material world.
Yeah. So there is a distinction there for sure. There's not a anything goes and anything is okay just based upon what you want to do. Yeah. You grab an Uzi or whatever. We use that. All right. So there we are. The friction, man. Friction just in our own faith. We feel it a lot of times. We experience it, especially if we're willing to evolve past wherever we are. And that's what encouragement that I think I want to give in this episode is to say, go for it. Okay? The universe has got your back. You know what I mean?
Yes, invite it in.
Yes.
Open the front door and say, come on in, as opposed to keeping it closed and living in the fear.
Amen, brother.
Let's go.
Love it, man. So there it is. Faith and friction right up front.
Give me that laugh again.
Oh, yeah. Faith and friction. So thanks for listening, everyone. It's been great, Rev. Appreciate the conversation, man.
I think we can continue this one when we get a little further down the road.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring it back and enhance upon it a little bit. That's a good idea. Again, thanks for listening, and we will do it again next week.
See you next time.
Take care.